Alright, so I'm making a video that's a little bit different than what I normally do. Now, I was going to put this as one of my weekly archive videos, but I figured I would love to make a video that is not over 40 minutes this time, so here we are. Now, it is currently Saturday, and we just got a bunch of boxes of what at least most of it's vintage, but that's about all we know. We don't know anything that's inside, so I thought it'd be fun to do a little unboxing video dedicated just to what we find in these boxes. Now, this woman had called a while ago asking if she could bring them in on a Saturday. I had no idea what Saturday, and today was the day. So I don't know anything other than we've got a lot of boxes. Now, as you can see over here, it's a little bit of a mess back here, but she brought in first some amazing vintage winter coats. Got faux fur and then real fur at the collar. But I suspect one of these has a little bit of dryness from the wool, so I have to figure out which one. But this coat I did take a little bit of a peek at and pull out the tag, because the tag is one of my favorites that I've seen. Oh, look at that lining. I absolutely love this tag. Forecaster of Boston. Ugh, I'm a tag whore. I've said this before, but I love the font, I love the style, I love everything about it. Okay, so I have Charles here helping me with this, and what he noticed, the boxes these came in are condom boxes. So we've got Urban Collection, Contest Collection, and Universal Mix. Can only imagine what that is. Alright, so we're going to open up bag number 1 first. She has all of these numbered. So I'm going to have Charles open this up and we'll see what's in it. She said that some of these were new, a lot of them are vintage. So we're going to find out together. So I love when everything's already prepackaged. Here we have Mama's Showtex. I don't know what that means, but they look like little handkerchief scarves, which I always love. And then it looks like this gorgeous purse with an F on it, and it's plastic coated just like those couches. How cool. Wow.
Miami.
Welcome to Miami. Love it. All right, so I'm switching over to voice recording now. So at the bottom of this box, there's a lot of baby stuff. As you can see, there's this baby warmer. We haven't tested it yet. I don't know what to do with it. And a lot of baby clothes, which I'll look through a little bit more later on. Then we have this insane 1960s psychedelic dress. It's in almost, I mean, I shouldn't say almost, it is in perfect condition. It honestly looks like none of this was ever worn. There's not a spot on it. Now, tucked towards the bottom, we have some Japanese pottery, these really big salt and pepper shakers, a matching little bowl, and the camera could not get how beautiful this velvet muff is. It's almost like a deep royal purple. It's just stunning. And then this little Scandinavian type belt with the beautiful pattern and embroidery on it. I had something and wore something like that when I was a toddler. I'll see if I can find a photo of it. But this, oh my goodness, this inky black crepe dress from the 40s. Not only is the embroidery and decoration on the front stunning, but buttons are actual mother of pearl and they're heavy. It's such a heavy dress, again, in near perfect condition. I just can't even believe it. But as you can see, there's a tons of stuff in the baby box. Now, in this video, I didn't go through every single little piece of baby clothing. I'll do that on next week's episode. I wanted to focus more on the adult stuff, but a lot of baby and children's clothes in here. And if I had children, I would be sticking them in these. They're gorgeous. But look at these little perfume bottles. Beautiful little oil lamp ones. And then I'm going to do more research on the next one I'm going to show you. And I can't remember, it was like chrysanthemum, rose, and I think it was gardenia. But you can pull those out from the little metal shelf. They're absolutely stunning. Now, this is, I think, like a younger girl's dress. And I guess it could be an adult if you're extremely petite. But has these adorable little mushrooms on it. Oh, I can't tell you how cool a lot of these were. Then we have some baby blankets, some toddler clothes. And again, I'll look more into that in next week's episode. But this box Charles was really afraid to open, but it was just a beautiful little doll. And I believe this one was probably from the late 30s, early 40s. Again, in perfect condition, kind of looks like me. So we're getting down to the bottom of this box. And look at that, more baby clothes. Now, these were from, I believe it was the Czechoslovakian Expo in, oh, I can't tell if it was in Edmonton or Toronto. Not positive, but all crystal, Czech crystal. The sound of it was beautiful. Oh, Vancouver. It was in Vancouver in 1986, I believe. So cool. I don't carry a lot of glassware, but for this, I'll make an exception. Now, for this next box, I'm just going to let you look a little bit and I will hop back in a moment. Now, look at this, more textiles. We have these beautiful embroidered napkins and little mini tablecloths. Later in the video, I'll show you these in more depth, but they were packed to perfection. Absolutely stunning. Again, a little bit of storage staining that you'll see a little bit later. Now, this must have been one of the, and I'm putting this in air quotes, modern pieces that she was talking about. It's a Crête of California, and it appears to be from the 1980s, which I know to her probably felt really modern, but again, doesn't look like it was ever worn. And then we get into the denim. Look at this killer pair of 1970s flares. Aren't those amazing? If I fit into those, I would never let them go, but my ass cannot get into that. But then we have this pair of 1970s hash jeans, and I get questions about these all the time, and if I've ever had a pair, well, now I do. But I hate to tell you, this pair I'm keeping for the archive. They're in almost perfect condition. And on the other side, you'll see in a moment, there is a beautiful little embroidered star on the pocket. Definitely very quintessential hash jeans. I just can't even believe how just how cool those are. And I'm devastated that they don't fit me. Now we're clearing out, again, more textiles, doilies. We have little small plates there, so we'll just let you take a look and I will hop back in. Now, the cool thing about this winter coat is that it's still in its original dry cleaning bag. And you'll see that on some of these pieces, I'm rubbing my hand on them because I'm checking for dry rot. There was a piece originally that was in this lot that had a lot of dry rot, but the original owner, I believe, took that out before she brought them to us, but some remnants of that dry rot were on some of the pieces, and I wanted to get that off as fast as possible. But we see some beautiful little Japanese made decor pieces. But as you can see, the condom box is up next. And sorry to break it to you, we did not find any condoms in here. I love how she labeled all of these bags, and this is Mama's summer dresses. And as you'll see, these two, again, being that these are what you'll see from the 1930s, they're in impeccable condition, and I want to know how they stored these. Must have been in a cedar chest because they are absolutely exquisite. But it's a beautiful, buttery, yellow, sheer material. Great summer dress. I'm sure they just wore a simple slip under it. How stunning. Very petite, very tiny, but how gorgeous, and the beautiful little ruffles and the dainty little belt. Then we have this kind of deeper forest green piece, and this looks like more of just a casual slip dress. Could have been from the late 30s, maybe very early 40s. Some of these, it's very hard to tell, but it's beautiful and in perfect condition nonetheless. Now we're going to get deeper into this box, and we start getting into some of the little girls' jackets. Oh, again, if these could be made bigger for us adults, can you imagine walking down the street with one of these coats? Absolutely stunning. The colors. And I'm going to keep repeating this. There wasn't any damage to them. Some of them had very slight discolorations, but when I was a kid, none of my coats looked like that. They had pen on the marker, dirt, grime. They did not look like this. So this family really took care of their clothing. And from the looks of it, these were obviously maybe their church pieces or special occasion pieces. But look at this insane, like turquoisey blue coat. And when Charles flips it around, you see that beautiful pleat in the back. Ugh, please, someone make a coat like that for me. I would just die. But we get deeper down, and in this bag, we have another amazing, well, two amazing winter coats. This one is from the 80s. Again, probably one of the more modern pieces she was talking about. In perfect condition. Throw a belt on that, and oh, it's good. It's absolutely amazing. Then we have this 1950s wool coat. You see, I'm trekking for that dry rot. Amazingly, there isn't any. And I didn't suspect on this because it is actual wool, there would be any more that happens with the synthetic. But some wool pieces get very dry as well, and they'll start to break apart. This one, polar opposite. It was in amazing condition, no dryness at all. The lining was still beautiful and intact. All right, moving on to this beautiful quilted robe. Talk about that a bit later, but I am gonna hop right back in here and tell you a little bit more about what I found. All right, so I'm cutting in the voiceover, and the moment I took this out, I didn't even have to look at all of it. I just saw these darts, and I knew this was a 1940s suit. And you flip it over, and you get this. Probably can't see too much of it, but it's a bunch of little Aurora Borealis rhinestones. Let's get this on a hanger and see it. So it does have a label, Friedmont. Again, I'm going to go back over and do some research, but look at this. It has a matching little pin at the bottom. Look at how beautiful that is. I mean, it doesn't even look like there are really any stones missing. Actually, yes, yes there are, but that can be replaced. Ugh. How gorgeous is this? And we have the matching skirt, which doesn't have any of the embellishments, but it doesn't need to. It has the jacket.
Really
So gorgeous. This thick black linen set, and I believe this is from the 50s. Let's see if I can get, running out of room on the rack, Jack Man original. This one is unique. It kind of looks like a little safari jacket. It does need some work. Some of the tarnish from the button got on the linen, but it does have a matching skirt, and it looks like this matching belt as well. We have a piece of a collar, some embroidery and little rhinestones. Wedding shower negligees. Mama, gifts from her mother and sisters. So at first I thought this was a robe or something, but then I took it out and it's actually a lingerie bag and all of, it says 90s?
90s.
Oh, 90s. It's a little lingerie bag with all the lingerie in it. Oh, it's like a gift within a gift. So it looks like we have a pair of nylons still wrapped up in the tissue paper. Dream girl. Love, and ooh, I thought I saw a seam on one of these, but they're so soft.
Okay, diving back into this vintage lingerie. And a lot of these brands I'd never even heard of, so I have a lot of research on my hands. But a lot of these pieces ranged from the 30s and 40s. There's one in particular a little bit later that it could be the later part of the 20s. Again, I have a lot of research ahead of me on these. But just look at that. And this was all in that little lingerie bag. See, this is another brand I'd never heard of. So delicate. I love the seams and the delicate lace. I'm speechless. And again, they're all in perfect condition. Maybe a tiny little storage discoloration, but this one in particular is actually a great size. I believe the waist is probably up to maybe a 38 just upon further glance. And then we get into this beauty. I'll talk about it more later in the video, but video can't do it justice on how stunning it is. But I'm going to jump right back in.
Alright, so we've been through all the boxes. I haven't opened up every single little bag, especially the ones with the doilies. But wow, can you believe the condition and the style of a lot of these? I'm kind of in awe. As you can see, this is the stuff I've gotten in past weeks. So from here down, and then we still have stacks and empty boxes and everything else that's bagged up. So when I come in tomorrow, I'm gonna try to organize this more and take a closer look at everything. But for now, I am going home and getting something to eat, and we'll pick this up again tomorrow. Good morning. It is Sunday, and I came in a little bit early to go through more of the vintage lot that I got in last night. I've been thinking about it all day. I'm so excited, and I do think there are pieces that I am going to keep, but I just want to go through them all and sort some pieces out, see what I want to sell, see what I want to keep for myself and put in the archive. Now, I was asked why anybody would want to get rid of a lot of these clothes. And I know the woman that came in yesterday, she had an attachment to them, but she wanted to make sure they ended up in a good home, a place that would appreciate them, people that would appreciate them, and not just dumped somewhere. She definitely had a lot of thought about where she wanted these pieces to go, and I'm really honored that she chose to bring them here. So without further ado, let's take a closer look at some of these pieces and open up some of the bags that I didn't get a chance to last night. Okay, so when we left off last night, we had just finished unpacking everything. I had to pull these 1970s hash jeans back out and just take a good look at them. Aren't they amazing? I've never had a pair of these in store, and these are going to look great in upcoming photo shoots. So I did have some pieces that I hadn't opened yet, so I thought it'd be fun just to go through and open up some of that and then take a closer look at a lot of these other pieces, because I felt a little rushed last night. Just closed the shop. We were heading to a family dinner, but I really just wanted to open everything up and get a sneak peek. And now we get to look a little bit closer. Now, I absolutely love these vintage tablecloths that, I mean, I know people who would happily turn these into beautiful pieces of clothing. They have a little bit of some storage staining, but they're in beautiful condition. Such lovely textiles. I mean, they kept these in impeccable condition, and that's always what shocks me. Now, in this bag, it looks like there are some bigger type, well, actually, or is this an apron? It's so much harder to film this when I'm doing it by myself. I think this might be an apron. Hold on one second. Yes, look at that. Such a beautiful crocheted apron. You see this yellow band going across the screen? It's because of my fluorescent lights, but it has no discolorations. It's absolutely gorgeous. All right, let's see what else. I think these might all be aprons or maybe little baby bibs, because this looks kind of small. Let's see. I'm already loving the textile. Yeah, I think it might be a little child's apron. So I think these are the little armholes, and you wrap it around them, I think. Someone please correct me if I'm wrong, but look at this pattern and this fabric. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now we keep going along in here, and again, they all look to be aprons, and I'm pretty sure they were all handmade. Yeah, definitely all aprons. Some of these, they almost still feel starched, like they haven't been used since. But look at that. Look at all that detailing. Gonna have to get these properly hung up. Ugh. Sometimes I'm always at a loss for words when I find these pieces. Here, hold on one second. I mean, how gorgeous is this? Again, a lot of these appear to have never been used. Can you believe it? But now I see something in here that I'm not sure if it's an apron or a negligee. Let's see. Yes, these are all beautiful aprons, and these ones are almost identical. They almost look like bridal aprons. And when I look closely, there's a little silver ring tied into this bow. So this must have been maybe a wedding present. How gorgeous. And again, there's not a spot on them, so you can tell these were never used. All right, so now we have another bag of textiles. And what caught my eye about this one initially is you can see kind of a big outline of a cowboy. So immediately my interest is piqued. Yeah, so it looks like these were handmade curtains. And there's this little matching pillow sham that went with it. So this must have been for a little boy's room. But again, just look at how vivid the colors are. I mean, it's almost as if these were never used or put up. Because normally when you have curtains up, especially if they're not backed, they get pretty sun faded. But these are in perfect condition. I'm beyond obsessed. And again, we have more beautiful textiles. Looks like this might be a little table runner. Oh, gosh, these are absolutely beautiful. Matching napkins. A lot of beautiful embroidery. I mean, look at this. How amazing. Artistry like this doesn't exist anymore, and if it does,
What people don't understand is this took so much time to do. And if you were to commission or have an artist do this by hand today, it's not going to come cheap. This is a whole other level of art form that we could take for granted. Amazing. Now it's getting closer to the time that I have to open the shop, so I'm going to take another quick peek of some of these pieces and then hop back here in between customers, but I have to bring out and switch positions here on this stunning 1930s bias cut dress. Now again, in the box, all I saw was this fabric, and I saw a little bit of this flocking. Now I've had dresses in the past, specifically ones that were from Hawaii, that had a very similar pattern, colors, and the flocking around the neck. So in the bag, all folded up, only could see that part. I thought, oh, okay, this must be the modern dresses she's talking about. But no, it's not. And you can tell, because I mean, look at the way this was constructed. And again, the belt is missing almost all of its rhinestones. That I can replace. If you find stuff like that, there's a great shop on Etsy. If I can find it, I'll link it below, where I've been able to find a lot of rhinestones to replace on some of these vintage beauties. See if I can get that zoomed in a bit. But these buttons had some rhinestones in them. Absolutely gorgeous. See, it's so gorgeous my camera does not want to focus in on it. Insane. Now, one piece I didn't get a chance to look at closely yesterday because it was in a dry cleaning bag is this amazing 1960s Carlette black velvet dress, and it has this beautiful ivory collar and little satiny tie right here. And the reason why I brought this out, I mean, obviously with Halloween coming up, I know Wednesday Addams has always been a very popular costume, but I don't see myself as a costume shop. I know a lot of people see vintage as being costumey, which it can be, absolutely. But I like to show people that you can do so much more with it. Now, this piece, you could definitely wear it as a Halloween costume if you want to go as Wednesday Addams, but it's also a wearable dress. I mean, wear it out to cocktail night. If you're going to a formal dinner, can just cash it up a bit. Get some knee-high socks, some nice boots, jewelry. Absolutely gorgeous. And again, it was dry cleaned, so just out of the bag. It does have some discolorations that they just come along with age. But otherwise, it's in absolutely amazing condition. I can't wait to get it on my mannequin and photograph it. Now I wanted to pull this one out because I know she said that there were pieces from the 20s in the bag. And again, I will say this time and time over and over, I am not a fashion historian. I learn what I learn and I do the best I can with my knowledge. But looking at this, I'm pretty sure it's not from the 20s, but I would definitely say I can see it being from the 30s to early 40s, especially with this beautiful embroidery work here. You have the ribbon and eyelet, and this looks pretty similar to an earlier piece that I have, which is why I know it's close to that time, but it's probably more reminiscent of things that you would find in the early turn of the century and also the 1920s. I want to pull this one out, and I got this from an estate that had pieces going back to the late 1800s, early 1900s, until about the 1940s. Now this, I believe, was probably from the late teens, early 1920s, but it does have kind of a similar design and fabric makeup of this beautiful negligee. Now this was used as a corset cover. You can see with the little snaps right here, variations of these sprouted up later in the century, and we see even kind of modern references to this in what we wear as crop tops. I've seen a lot of amazing vintage and antique lovers who wear these pieces and incorporate it into their everyday wear. Absolutely love it. And this was constructed so well. The only flaw are just these little storage discolorations, but these were made to last. These were not made to be repurchased, resewn. If you bought one of these or had one made for you, they were going to last you for your entire life and even a couple of generations after that.
Ending this video in one of my favorite pieces. Thank you so much for watching. I'll try to do more specialized videos like this and not shove them all into my weekly little vlogs. But stay tuned for next week's episode and I'll go through more of those children's clothes and some of the research I found about these pieces. But as always, thank you so much for watching and sharing in my geeking out and enjoyment. And we'll see you all again next week. Bye.